Okay, we have a couple of people in the waiting room, so I'm going to start.
Okay. Okay, I've got us on Facebook. Okay.
So I think I will need to mute myself on.
Okay. Look at that beautiful cover photo. Oh my goodness. Look at that beautiful cover photo. Oh my goodness. You're muted, Daniela.
Okay, right, yeah. Okay, so Jennifer, I am going to mute myself for a second because I've got a rebound voice from Facebook. Hey, Jennifer, so I'm back in, so I'm not hearing myself on the background. Okay, so I think we...
Yeah, we have a little time delay between Zoom and Facebook.
Right, yes. Yeah. So I'm going to connect myself on Facebook here if I can. Yes. You can hear me okay, Jennifer, can you?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. No, just for the comments. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna check now. So it's always good to go live a few minutes earlier, just to sort out, and then we will to sort out the technicalities. And we will start in a couple of minutes, waiting for more people to come in. So I'm just going to check. Okay. I'm just looking for the event link. Event transform event. So we have one person, probably majority of people will be on Facebook, I take. Let's see. Hello, so here we are. We can start the evening. Hello, hello, this is so exciting. Welcome, welcome, Jennifer Rose. It's so great to have you tonight. Oh
Great
my
to be here,
God.
Daniela.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. You know, I just couldn't wait. And, you know, since the first broadcast, I've been having so many beautiful comments, and the interest is very much there. And a lot of people, you know, in the background, you know, they've been asking themselves a lot of questions that have been coming up in the broadcast, in my broadcast. And so they're just popping up from every corner saying, that's exactly what you're doing, what you're talking about. This is something that we are interested in knowing. People coming up with all sorts of questions. So what I would like to say is welcome, welcome. Welcome to Rosaria. Welcome to Lisa, to Neil, to Kate Belladia. Thank you so much. And we have Rish here. So if you are joining us on Zoom, please do keep your video on. It's quite important for us, okay? So what I would say, let's start with this. So what I wanted to ask Jennifer, this journey of yours, okay? I know we've had a chat, okay, before, and we've been getting to know each other little by little. And it's so interesting to find out, you know, first of all, your awakening. Can you please, you know, talk about your awakening and how did you come about doing what you're doing?
Oh boy, that's a lot. Spiritual awakening.
It's just that so many people will be able to identify with your experience of
Oh
mine,
yeah.
and every week, as well as I have new mediums, you know, people will say, "Oh, okay, I got it now," right?
Yes. I started feeling a calling. I've always known I was intuitive, and so I was always very spiritually and metaphysically inclined, but I started feeling this calling to go explore mediumship several years ago. And when I did that, I was, you know, kind of went full, you know, full throttle into it, and what I might call spirit boot camp. And I was doing a lot of meditation and taking a lot of classes. So it only took a tiny amount of time for that to kick in, for the sort of spiritual awakening to kick in, and the dark night of the soul, all of that. I've been through it, and enough that that I can talk about it and I can teach about it, and help people understand they're not crazy, and what they're going through is actually very common and very normal, especially with people who are going into mediumship and healing, and other types of spiritual practices. And so yeah, it's been a pretty interesting ride over the several years. And just when you think you've kind of gone through it, and you're through the through the worst of it,
Yeah.
and another level kicks in. So
Yeah.
I've seen and done a lot.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure you have, as we all have. When we were talking, you were saying, the importance of keeping open-minded.
Yeah.
Where are you coming from with that? What do you mean?
Well, in regards to spirituality and mediumship, I feel like the more we limit ourselves, that it has to look a certain way and be a certain way, then we sort of kind of deprive ourselves of all of the different ways that spirit can work. If
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yes.
So I try very hard to embrace the different ways that spirit wants to work, because if we look at just like our dreams, for example, they're very creative, they're very symbolic. It's it's another language that the spirit speaks, and they speak in many ways. And like
Yes.
I like to say, like, God is very creative, so he's going to express, she is going to express itself in many different ways.
Yes.
Through mediumship, if we kind of put it all in a box that it has to look this way and it has to be this way,
That's right.
then we might encounter a little bit of a struggle, because we're pushing away things that we're getting because somebody's told us that's not real, or we can't do it that way, and then we don't know kind of what to do with that. So I know for me, spirit kind of not nudged me, but like threw me out of the box.
This is so true. This is so true. This is why, I have started this live show chat with mediums from all over the world, because you see, the mediumship, the classic old-fashioned, if we want to call it that way, mediumship, it's at the moment in time, with the new vibrations that we are being hit with on Mother Earth, and the ascension and the awakening of so many souls to spirituality, means that it's actually not hitting, not following the evolution. Therefore, we are at risk of missing out, passing on very valuable messages to people that are awakening. And as you rightly say, we want to embrace diversity in every form and shape in the world. And this also comes at level of spirituality. And as you say, because I totally agree with you, this diversity comes in a different forms of spirit expressing itself. Now, we will still be passing on messages from spirit, but it doesn't mean that has to be in one format only. So what are the other type of forms of messages you give? What is
Right,
it?
right. So I am as a trained evidential medium, and I do believe evidence is important, because I want people to feel that, that proof of afterlife, so that when they leave a reading or leave a demonstration, when the logical mind kind of kicks in and says, was that real? Did that really happen? They've got those pieces. But in addition to that, though, I've had students come to me and say, this teacher told me that this isn't real the way I'm working, and this is wrong. And I listen to them, and I'm like, well, that sounds perfectly normal to me, that spirit would want to work with you that way. And in my classes, the same thing. We're open-minded to, if a guide wants to give a message, if there's a message from an angel or a spirit animal. And those may be less evidential, but evidence can come over time through that person already knows that information because they've had that experience, or more than one medium says that, at different encounters with that person. And what I have found, the more we open up to spirit and let them show us however they want to do that, to give the message, that it just becomes so magical. I just can't even say enough how magical and wondrous the experience is when we leave it open to how they want to show it to us.
Yes.
And they speak just such a beautiful language of symbolism, using, everything out there,
Right.
that we can embrace. And it just makes it so much more fun for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know in the US, but here in the UK, there is this wave of people attending sound baths, and where they find a way to, because these are all awakening souls. Okay, they are being attracted to sound baths because the sound also sends important messages. Right. I know that in the past decades, we've had angel readers and messages from the angels, so some others work a lot with spirit animals, okay? But it is true that as spirit can shape in color, different colors, okay? And vibes and energy waves, and so at this point we need to be open to accept messages from all basically shapes and format, which is what you're talking about. What do you think healing is about these days?
Oh, that's a great question. The short answer, love. It's just love. I like to say we're not fixing something that's broken. We're just participating in changing the experience that somebody is having for the better. We're trying to attain a more positive experience within a partnership of the person who is receiving their higher God self, the healer, the helpers in spirit that are all part of this beautiful partnership. And it's a coming together of spirit together for love to help change the experience of somebody, however that shows up for them, so that they can have a life ahead of them that feels better in some way or creates more love in some way. So at the end of the day, it's all love.
Yes, yes, yes. And love can be perceived in so many different ways, right? Now, how do you, I know that you are a teacher, that you run your own circles. How do you bring out to the masses and to the people that are open, or vice versa, who are the people that you are attracting to you because of what you do? Can you tell us more about that?
I've just been fortunate that, everyone who I connect with, I may call them my students, but we're all just on this ride and this journey together. And I've just been so fortunate. Everybody is just so open-hearted and is willing to try and willing to learn. And I just try to create a safe space where people can just be themselves and not be worried about like what someone else is going to think or how well they're doing, to kind of get that worry about achievement sort of off the table and just make it a fun experience for them.
Absolutely.
This works so much better.
I know. Well, so what is love about? Our love is about upliftment. It's about it's about ascension now, and the ascension and conscious development with raising the vibration to a standard whereby we connect to the love of that God, where we can actually start perceiving the reality we live in from a different perspective, therefore raising ourselves out of the density of the 3D, and therefore being able to live this earthly life from facing the problems from a different perspective. How do you see the changes of your students when they start training with you? What is like maybe how do you see their growth?
It's so beautiful. It really just is so beautiful. I see a lot of them going through awakenings of their own, but there's such an atmosphere of support for each other. Like, so everybody's kind of supporting each other through that. And everyone kind of, a lot of my students stay connected on the outside of circle, and make friends with each other. So it's kind of like developing this just beautiful, I want to say, connection, of souls, of people together. And this connection just kind of keeps growing. And it's very lovely. But I love seeing, where people kind of started out, where they're just so nervous and worried about when they're going to get better and when they're going to, and to fast forward, several months or however long that may take, short, long, doesn't matter, to where they're just like, they've got it, we're doing this. It gets better each time. And it's like, gosh, stop and look from where you came and see, it's so exciting. And then when we see a jump in one student, everyone else is like, yay, good for you. Look at that. Oh my gosh.
Yes, absolutely. And you find that a lot of people, they are, because I've been running my own circle as well. I'm not currently, because obviously I've got other projects coming along and there are only 24 hours a day, hours in a day. But what I find that a lot of people try to aim to perfect themselves. And I always try to, tell people, look at the look at the progress, just as you said. You know, it's not the perfection, because although the perfection exists within us, the moment when we connect to spirit, who is perfection in itself, it's love, right? The purest form of love. But when it comes to us, this experience, it's a lifetime project of expansion, learning of lessons, okay? But above all, and what I wanted to confirm with you as well, it's to do with collective and coming together, because where we are heading at the moment with the expansion of expansion of consciousness is the strength of the collective that comes together for a unique purpose. And you know, unfortunately, in the world of mediumship, you know, there may be some ego going on, okay, with that. Whereas in the new mediumship, what we are seeing is the coming towards each other, lending a hand, coming together, helping each other. Is this your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been getting the same thing. It's all about coming together, working, doing it together. When I first started doing my Sunday service, that's what I was getting from Spirit, is we want to bring people together regardless of where they are in the community to change there is some competition, and everyone's on their journey, their healing journey in the spiritual community, which is very diverse, but sometimes it's like, well, this mediumship's better than that, or this astrology is better than that, or this Reiki's better than that. And I've been getting, no, let's just all come and celebrate each other. And what they've also shared with me, which very much aligns with what you're saying, is it's not all about when we're talking about the collective evolution or the ascension, it's not just waiting for spirit to come and bring it down to us. It's about us coming together to get that as a collective. So it's not just like outside coming in, it's us going up together by working together. In other words, we have to all do our part.
Absolutely. And would you agree with my work, your work, and the work of other colleagues of ours who are on the same wavelengths at the moment, who have had the call a while back, therefore we are a bit more ahead of the others? It's like the feeling of being called to help hold the energies and actually help others to come along and develop. And whereby us being here, it doesn't mean that we are any better than the others, but simply we are here to lead and help, and you know, the development of this expansion, basically.
Yeah, we all are where we are. And like you said, it's not about like one's better than the other. It's just about if somebody is at a certain starting point and they're destined to be at a different you know, not ending point, but point along the path, and we're able to help them with that, well, then that's the way kind of it's all meant to be, just as people helped us in our path and helped us grow from where we were too. So we're kind of like just passing along like what was done for us, where we do for others as well. So we just kind of keep the connection flowing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. And I understand that you are a trance medium as well. How did you come about that?
Oh gosh, I love doing trance. I do trance healing and I do trance speaking. I started out doing a workshop pretty early in my development, and I really liked it. And so I just kept going with it, going to circles and workshops and practicing at home. I did a lot of just at home sitting in the power for trance. So your development, your dedication to your home practice is really important. And then when I had another big wave of my own awakening, kind of that Kundalini transformation thing happened for me, then my trance just went way up after that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And as I do speak to a lot of people in development or other colleagues of ours, I find that particularly in the past, say 6 months even, there has been a lot of dramatic changes and challenges in most people's lives. It's as if us being light workers being thrown right at the deep end of the darkness even, and having to make a choice to not give up that race. And the moment when we've come out from the other side, myself, I've experienced an explosion of light, to the point where my mediumship became far, far stronger. And, the work with spirit and the messages I was getting, was like so powerful. And I do hear, and I have been speaking to other mediums that have been going through exactly the same thing. What do you make of these new energies?
Yeah, I've noticed the same thing. A lot of people going through very intense transformation, and it's definitely they are getting a gift for it, because it's can be brutal going through that. It's very intense and can be scary for people too, but the gift they get out of it is their connection gets really strong, and their mission gets much clearer, and their purpose gets much clearer from that too. So there's definitely something very big happening, because it's just undeniable. It's everywhere.
Yes, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And I have come across also people that are not in spirituality, but they start questioning things and what's happening to them. And when I start talking to them about what I do and my purpose, and having found out my purpose in life, they actually pay extra attention. And that is magic, because this is exactly what the developing consciousness and the ascension is about, is the awakening. And like the likes of you and I, going out and about, bumping into people, whether we know them or not already, acquaintances perhaps, and then we talk about what we do. And I find, I don't know about you, but there were times where I have to admit I didn't have the courage of saying what I was really doing on the sideline of my day job, okay? Because like everyone, I need to work for a living, but on the side, this has been developing so strong that is actually almost taking over my day-to-day, basically, because it's so powerful, and this is something that you cannot control as such, because it's like spirit guiding us, basically, okay? Do you find that it was difficult for you at the beginning to talk about, I'm a medium, I'm a spiritual person, and how has it changed now for you?
Yeah, in the beginning, it is, you kind of keep it a little more private and quiet, because you don't know what your family going to think, what your neighbor's going to think, what's society going to think, all of that. So you kind of, there is that sort of coming out of the closet as a medium.
Yes.
Happens, but that's part of the journey too. That's part of the journey of stepping into your empowered self, where you're more reconnected with the higher self of you, is being able to say, yes, this is what I do, and I'm very proud of it. And, proud to be of service of spirit. And, there is another reality out there that doesn't quite understand it, and is that's okay. We do what we do for who we do it for when we can.
And it is very true that because we have very strict religions, I mean, I am originally Italian, and having been brought up in a Catholic country meant that, you couldn't possibly, even when I was a child and I could hear and see spirit, I couldn't talk about it, right? And so as I grew older, I felt that I was really struggling with not being able to actually express, the other reality, which is not at all imagined. I didn't imagine it, and I suppose this is one of the challenges that people have, the pre-built conception that, you know, just as you mentioned, you don't talk about these things because people think, you know, like you're a bit more, you're too much out there, so to say, right? And there was something that you were mentioning earlier on um, we were talking about healing, and the importance, in fact, other than healing, of so I've just lost the train of. You were talking about meditation. So the importance of meditation, and how would you explain to someone why is meditation so important?
Yeah, it really, really helps. From a practical standpoint, it's going to save you some money too, because it's work you can do at home that's free. For one thing, that's just the whole practical part. But it allows you time to learn how to focus your awareness, to become aware of what we call the power. The power, some people use the power, they use it in terms of like it's energy. I like to say it's more than that. It's beyond energy. It's the spirit of you and the spirit that joins you. It's in you, of you, around you, for you, to you, all of that, that power. Getting to know that is an experience, and it's a relationship with yourself and with spirit that you develop over time. And through that sitting, you learn to attune your awareness, become more aware of the power, learn to move with the power, work with the power, be in the power, stay in the power, so that you can hold your link longer, right? Or do your healing longer, right? And you're developing that relationship, and that's helping you to get to know you and the bigger part of you too. So you get to really feel how big you actually are, how expanded you actually are. So when we sit in the power, we usually expand ourselves out like this. We kind of let it get bigger. That's kind of the traditional way of doing it, right? There's other ways of doing it, right? But I always like to say you already are that big. You're just tuning into what's already there. You're learning how to build that. And that also helps you to build your relationship with spirit if you're wanting to work in an intuitive way. So that's, you can get more and more comfortable with spirit blending with you, coming closer and closer and closer. So they're not out here, they're like right here with you. And you're just doing this all together because you're developing more of that oneness connection with spirit. And then you can also, for your own benefit, you can sit in meditation so that you can receive healing too. So you don't always have to go and pay for it for somebody else. You can receive it for yourself if you want to take the time. Ask your loved ones, your helpers, God, whatever you want to do. It's like another form of prayer as well too. Say, please come bring me healing, or please help me work with my own intuition, or let me learn to help me feel my own loved ones around me because I miss them. I want to develop a relationship with my parent who's in spirit. I miss them and I want to be able to feel them because I believe that they're there, but I want to be able to feel it and communicate with them.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So much that we can do by taking that time.
Absolutely. And, some people are, just asking how spirit is being perceived when we channel them. How do you see spirit when you channel? When you give mediumship readings?
Okay, so when I'm connecting with loved ones?
Yes, that's right.
Every connection is a little bit different because they all like to work in different ways. And so sometimes I'm feeling them more, and then sometimes they're showing more of the images, and sometimes I'm hearing things. Usually it's a combination of, but each loved one and spirit that I work with is a little bit different. And because, like you said earlier, development is continuous, throughout a lifetime. It's like they're still teaching you, no matter, it doesn't matter if you're being paid to do it or volunteering to do it or in practice, they're always going to be throwing you new things that you haven't seen before or heard before. And then you're like, okay, you put that in your little memory bank for next time. Okay, they taught me something new. Thank you, loved one. But for me, it's like a friendship. I'm making friends with every person that I connect with. I take it very seriously. It's very sacred to me. And if somebody in spirit is trusting me to connect for the person here that they love, like that's a big deal to me. So it's very special. So sorry, I get a little choked up when I think
No,
of it.
very well. It's
Like,
wonderful. Wonderful.
they picked me and arranged all of that to bring us together. Like
Yes.
that's, yeah. Woo, I get chills.
Woo-hoo. You know, spirit is coming closer, and I feel the energy is building up. But I just wanted to say, like a lot of times people ask me, how do you see spirit? And so, because this is the school of conscious evolution, as spirit wanted me to call this, has first called me to do it, and then gave me the name. You need to call this, the school of conscious evolution, is because we need to explain what's going on and how things are perceived. And for instance, when we move over, so our body is like a chariot, it's like a carrier, okay? And we are here to learn to look after it, okay, and learn to love ourselves. And one of the biggest challenges we have is to learn to love ourselves just as we are. And this is like for some people, this is like a lifetime challenge. But then again, as we are spirit and we move on, to the other dimension when we die, we are actually vibrational energy. So we are like vibrations, we are waves of colors. And when we channel spirit, spirit makes sure that when they transmit the information to us in the ether, we can, with our human mind, we can see or hear, but just say, let's say if we are clairvoyant, then we can see them the way they looked like in life, what they were wearing and what they were doing. They transform it in a little bit of a movie that just passes through our head, and we can, with words, just explain it, okay? So, and normally when they come closer to us, we perceive this coldness, and shift of almost density, but a shift of temperature, okay?
Yes,
And
yes.
normally it would be coldness, okay? And I would say by experience, probably 80-90% of the time, spirit means very well. And even when I've had cases of neighbors or acquaintances calling me in panic, things were sounding or looking funny at home, it was just some of their loved ones just wanting to communicate. And after the communication happens, say that case with my intervention, but I know of so many mediums that had the similar experience, then those occurrences no longer happen in the house. So,
Right.
so vast majority of the time, spirit is benign, and actually they are desperate to get in touch with us and to let us know they're fine, they're well, that they still love us, they want to look after us. And this comes actually as a relief at the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
So yeah,
yet,
see what you're saying. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I would say it's just different words for what you said. Is like I see them as loving consciousness or loving awareness, and they're part of that high intelligence of that, all coming from where we were created, from the creator itself, from source. And I experience it very much like you do, the waves of love, the tingles, the density and the atmosphere, which can make us get sleepy, a little bit sleepy sometimes. So sometimes people are wondering, why am I feeling a little bit sleepy when I'm in this, beautiful, service I'm attending or a demonstration I'm attending, it's because there's a lot of spirit around, so it makes it more dense. You can feel that calmness, and you can feel emotions too, a lot of emotions, because it's like it's almost like a reunion or a remembering when you're in that close, because the worlds are very interconnected, you know, and so you feel that love and the emotion of kind of like oh, that's home, you know.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, I just wanted to say that the collective is undergoing these amazing, you know, changes and transformation. And how do you see yourself going forward with the healing? What do you think? How do you think the energy is going to be impacting the way you are working with others as a leader, basically?
Oh, that's a great question. I'd like to know myself. I'd love to see where that's going to unfold. Unfortunately, I don't know. They don't always tell me how everything's going to look. But I know for me, part of my mission and purpose is to keep reminding people that they're spirit too, that they come from this love, and that they're perfect and beautiful just the way they are. And then the remembering of that's how we start to get back into the oneness of self again. And the more that happens, everyone kind of getting back into the oneness of self, we get into that collective oneness together. And so it's all a journey that we're all doing our part in. So that's a big part of my mission or purpose. What spirit wants from me is spreading the awareness of love and the reminder that we are all spirit. Just because we're here, it doesn't make us less than the spirit world. We look up to them, put them on a pedestal. They look at us exactly the same way because we're the same. We're just having a different experience. It's a different perception and consciousness. It's a different experience. They know this is very hard. So they're like, hats off to you for, you know, doing that, being there when you are, you know, because it's not easy being human.
True that. So if someone came to you, Jennifer Rose, and they said, things are happening to me. I know I know I can feel spirit. I know they're around, and I don't know where to go, what to do. What would you suggest them they did?
Yeah, first it helps just to have a little bit of information so that they can understand that these things happen and they're actually not wrong, or they're not normal. They're, you know, so these things happen, they start having the awareness. So that means they're kind of having their own awakening, and if they're being led to me, that means the higher self of them and their helpers are wanting them to help understand what's happening. So it's kind of part of their journey. Typically it's going to indicate that there may be some gifts that can be developed, might be healing, psychic, mediumship, you know, astrology, channeling, all of the above. It could be too. So there may be some gifts that need to be developed, or there's loved ones wanting to communicate. When we're having things moving around and sounds and things like that, what we call physical phenomenon, that's actually really cool. Like, so I would say, like, I wish I was getting that too, because to me, that's very exciting, because that means like spirit's working very hard to kind of shift your perception of reality so that you can see like, wow, there's way more than meets the eye. Like there's a lot of, you know, things that are beyond my perception. There's so much more than, you know, than as it seems.
Yes.
You know, so I get excited about those things. It's like physical mediums, which like I sit in physical mediumship circle with another physical medium. We actively work towards achieving physical phenomenon. And then some people are just getting it and they are like, oh, I'm scared. I don't know what to do with it. And I'm like, no, let me come over. Different perception, a different perspective, because I trust the spirit world and I understand it. And so if you can provide some information like, this is exciting, this is cool, like, look, lucky you, that, oh, okay. You know, I had this is a fun story. I was with a bunch of mediums at a going away party for a medium friend of ours that was moving. And there was only a few of us left afterwards. And the hostess wanted to bring out the spirit board and for us to communicate with our loved ones. Now, this is just like using oracle cards or talking to a medium or using pendulum, it's just a different tool. And one of the gals was very scared. She said, I'm just gonna watch. And so we're like, okay, you just watch. And, we make it very loving, very sacred, very respectful. And, but the first person who came through was that lady's husband. Their anniversary was the next day. And he was doing like XOXO, I love you. I mean, it was just so beautiful. I want to cry. I love telling that story, and her whole perspective was changed. Like her trust in spirit was so much greater after that. And it was, I think all of that was just for her.
Yes, and it was meant to happen. And that is amazing how it happens actually every time, isn't it? It's just like the people that expect it the least is actually bang, it hits them and suddenly they just awaken, isn't it? And often how I explain it, it sometimes happens like, when you read the oracle and you've got the tower, literally it's a tower moment, when things come with the lightning, and suddenly, you just awaken. It's literally just like that. Some people, they go after it, but it happens in a split moment all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I know some people, I just had this conversation with someone because she wasn't sure if she should attend this class for like a Kundalini activation. And I was like, it's up to you, however you feel called to go to that. But if you're meant to have that experience, you're going to have it, whether or not you take the class. It won't, so
the class is complementary because it helps you to develop. But it's just the combination of everything you do that will bring awareness and wisdom, because wisdom, sometimes we call it philosophy as well. What it is about, it's to do with spirit talking to you and you listening to that words of wisdom to provide you with guidance in your day-to-day life. And often I find that, to me, wisdom comes after, I've had major life lessons and experiences, and therefore, Spirit says to me, you had to go through this so that I could open up your heart and make you experience the highest form of vibrations, which is love.
Yeah.
And again, this brings us back to when I was saying before that life and our purpose here is to actually experience life in a duality, which is inside the body, and experience the negative and the positive and strike a balance. And so that in itself is the life lesson. We all have a good side, but we also have a negative ego, right? And for some people, ego becomes so paramount that you become, unfortunately, a famous figure in history for not making, names, for the atrocities you've done. But then you've got saints on the other side because they've embraced, the love in full swing, like abandoning all that they owned in life, like St. Francis of Assisi, to follow, the ascension of his spirit by not having anything at all to do with all that is wealth and richness and what is to do with following the ego, in 2 words. So effectively speaking, we are here to experience life in a body. Because when we are on the other side, we are just pure energy. And this is the whole difference between us and beyond. We are here to experience exactly this. Now, I just saw a comment from Valerie. She's saying, and this is on Zoom, I grew up in Orthodox religion, but my uncle, being a Freemason, encouraged me to celebrate and talk about being in a spiritualist and don't bother about what others think. I never hid it when working in healthcare. What do you think about that, Jennifer?
I think that's lovely that she was encouraged to embrace who she was and what she believed in. I think that's beautiful. We all need people like that in our lives.
Yes, yes. It's, you know, and it doesn't, you know, it can be quite challenging, isn't it, to talk about spirituality. And I think, I suppose, the more you practice it, the more it becomes part of you. Hence, you can't hide it any longer. But this is why we are actually coming to the forefront, you know, with this. One of the things I do is exactly this. You know, I started advertising in town, you know, about what I do with the healing and, you know, with the readings and everything. And I know that more and more people, they don't make any comments on these, you know, social chats and everything, but afterwards they say, oh, I see you keep coming up and I'm very interested in what you do. And the difference between me and them is that I'm coming out and I'm just, you know, saying to people what I do. And then people that are awakening, they will naturally contact me. And this is what you and I are being called to do, and the likes of us,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well
Um,
said.
Go on.
I said, well said.
Yeah, well said, well said. Yes. So are there any questions from people following us at all? You're welcome to make any comments or to ask anything that we've talked about so far. If you have any questions, welcome.
One thing I thought of too, Danielle, when you're talking about the saints too, is that, and I think this might help some people too who are going through their awakening process and they're in the darkness and they're in that dark night of the soul, is most of those saints, to get to where they earned that, you know, historical remembrance, have been through very intense spiritual awakening. They know the side of the soul. They've been through the kundalini, or whatever you want to call it. They different, they might use different terms in the Catholic religion, you know, they'll call it spiritual ecstasy or spiritual darkness, those kinds of things. They know it very well, you know, so they've been through H and back to get to be that, you know, great deal of emanating that kind of love and light that they do. And I hope that, you know, anyone who's listening can go, okay, if, you know, if they went through that, I can do it too. Like we can all do this. And that doesn't mean we're all meant to be saints. That's
no, not at all. No, not at all. This is not about,
we put them on a pedestal, but we understand.
No.
They went through really intense things to get there. God puts you through the trials and tribulations, you know.
Yes.
And so, but no one is alone in that. It's very common. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It is very common. And one thing that we really want to stress out here is that we all have in common hosting the soul within us.
Yes.
And in some of us, that soul has made itself manifest within us. So some of us take it to the point where we have become practitioners. And not everyone has to follow this path, your and mine, but that is part of their own journey, and they will make what they will of it. But they need to awaken to that and understand this is nothing to do with religion, by the way.
Exactly.
Because religion is man-made. Okay, religion is a construct of rules. Okay, within which, if you don't adhere, you're accepted or struck off, and so on and so forth. You know, soul is, we are born, we are all born with a soul. And The soul is everything that gives life. So it's animals, it's nature, and it's in everything, because it's a spark of life.
Yep.
Okay. And so, you know, we are not here, we're not saying religion is not right, but this is what my belief is. Okay. It's to do with to awaken to something that is major and beyond our wildest imagination, and to take bit by bit and go away and develop it to the point where we are awakened. And what happens with that? So next question would be, what do we do with that? Well, you use it to becoming. You use it to find your own path and the reason why you were born for. And being of service could be that you are a nurse, that you are a teacher, that you make bread for the community, that you help others in whichever way and format. And again, we all need a day-to-day job for a living, but we have a purpose behind the day-to-day. And this is what the soul awakening is about. Okay, so I have here Lou Rutherford. Hi, Lou, welcome. So glad to see you here. So I have always felt that I am connected to something more, but never known what to do with this knowledge. I have had different moments in my life which brought me to where I am today. Recently, I had a very bad fall in the stairs at home. I'm very sorry to hear that, Ruth. Lou, sorry, no Ruth, Lou. So she's had a very bad fall in the stairs at home, which could have been much worse than what it was. I felt that I was protected and that the fall was my awakening. Wow, to listening to what I believe and to find where my path is leading me. Isn't that amazing?
That is, yeah, that's beautiful.
That's
That awareness, like, wow, like that should have gone worse.
Yes.
Something's protecting me. Whoa.
Yes.
Like
and I'm
that.
sorry, Lou, you had to find out through falling down the stairs. It could have been less painful. Lou is a dear friend of mine. I haven't spoken to her in pre-COVID, so I'm just so pleased to see her popping up here tonight, but obviously she was meant to be. So Lou, that is amazing. And Lou, I have felt, as we had a brief chat through the years on Messenger, that there was something going on with you with awakening, but obviously, it's not something that you just butt into someone's life and say, oh, by the way, you just feel it, isn't it? And hey, Ron, hello, gorgeous. How are you? Ron is an amazing, amazing medium. He will be coming along on one of my Wednesday evenings for quantum healing, and he will be talking to us about that as well. And he's a wonderful medium. And I'm looking forward to have you on, and I'll talk to you soon as well. So yes, what would you say to do?
Oh, I'm sorry, your sound cut out, Danielle.
Oh, sorry. What would you say to Lou, having had her awakening?
Congratulations.
I'm sure she'll be laughing now.
Buckle your seatbelts.
Put on your seatbelts. Best advice ever. Put on your seatbelts. Look, that's not the end of it. Actually, it's just the beginning.
We've got Monica with her hand raised on the Zoom here. Daniela?
Yes, indeed. Hi, Monica. Come forward.
Hi, Daniela. Hi, Jennifer Rose.
Hi, Monica.
You both are amazing.
Hi.
I've been really enjoying following both of you just as of recently. I feel I've been on a journey for quite some time, probably about 20 years, with my spirituality and connecting meditation. And I know that I've always had some type of, not only intuition, but clairvoyance. I receive messages a lot of the times in my dreams. And they're very, very clear messages that I can wake up the next day and something happens that was literally in my dream, and not just normal stuff. But anyhow, is there anything, because I feel I've been wanting to, I had, I guess, kind of an awakening too. I almost lost my life in 2017 and was intubated for a week. They didn't even know if I was going to make it. But I've already been on the journey at that point. But once that happened, I had this strong desire, like, I need to do something more. I'm here for a reason. I need to make a difference. I want to dive more deeper into my spirituality and my gifts. And last year I opened a meditation studio in California, which I felt called to do. I just had a message that said, open it. The community needs you. The community needs it. And I did it. I didn't know how I was going to do it, where I was going to do it, but I manifested my perfect location. So I'm on this journey, but I want more. I want to be able to, thank you. I want to be able to deliver messages and gifts and to others. And I know I do have some of that. Is there anything you would recommend? Is there something that I could do even at home to start to get that flow going? I guess I don't know how you begin. I just want to be able to have more control over these type of messages that I get.
Jennifer.
Yeah, I can see all the colors around you too. So I can tell that you have the ability to do pretty much anything that you're interested in as far as working with spirit in that way. Cause so I would say you have the potential to be a multi-medium. So to do anything you want to do, I see you're definitely in a very high learning phase, but that learning phase can turn into a teaching phase for you. So you can come and be teaching others how to do what you're learning to do right now, if that makes sense. The best thing that you can do is sit in the power at home, is take that time, however much you have available to you. You can start small and you can work up, but taking that time to do that and sit with spirit, in the quiet, and just kind of learn to focus your awareness, it'll be really, really helpful. And there's a lot of simple and easy ways you can continue practicing your clairs, like paying it when you're listening to your music, really hearing all of the different instruments and tones, and tuning into like the vibration of the music and the meaning behind the words, going outside into nature and really focusing in on your background, what you're looking into a flower and all of the different little parts of it, and just becoming aware of that, having conversations with people, getting comfortable with meeting people, and because a lot of us people are very sensitive, and we can be a little bit, I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying we can be a little bit shy, but it helps to develop our connection with spirit if we're like less shy with people here too, so there's a lot of things that we can do, just simple and easy in our everyday world, and just living your life too, because the more life experiences you have, the more spirit has to work with, as far as like showing you things like, oh, I know what that is because I've been there, I've seen that, I've done that, and they can use that as part of their communication. Whoever to you.
Monica, if I may share with you a bit of my background, because I didn't come to this point overnight. Sorry, there is a little fly in front of me. So basically, it all started with a reading from a medium saying that I was meant to be working with crystals. So because I was not spiritual at all whatsoever, I thought that had to do with becoming a jeweler. So I went on and I attended 6 months of at the Gemological Institute of America in London, and then GMA, which is the equivalent of the UK one. But after that, it still wasn't cutting it, so to say. So and then I went to see another, I went. And they said, actually, it's to do with crystal healing. So I went like, oh, okay. So, and then because by trade, if you like, I am a crystal therapist, okay? And so this is how I started developing my consciousness and my spirituality by working with crystals. I did a 3 years course, and I did achieve the diploma through the Federation of Holistic Therapists in the UK. And then from there, by just being with like-minded people, I started finding out about different courses. I went along just to find out what made my heart sing. you know.
Mhm.
And then that's how I ended up at the SAG in London, which is the Spiritualist Association of Great Britain, where I actually I started attending some angel workshops and, you know,
Yeah.
trance mediumship workshop. And, you know, I was dipping my toe in many different things to see
Yeah.
what I felt was like my call into work.
Mhm.
I was just
Mhm.
curious. I was thirsty of knowledge and I wanted to know more. So
Yes.
to me, it's to do with following your intuition. What is it that you know, is it crystals, for instance?
Right.
Then,
Right.
you know, go and try and find out what that is about.
Mhm.
Is it about meditation with angels? Go and see what happens with that. Okay. So it's
Got
to
it.
do with ongoing development. And then it could
Yes.
be everything, and it could be one thing, or it could be more than one.
Right.
And
And over the years, I signed up for the courses for, for chakras, for crystals, for everything, sound healing. And I've been leading sound healings at my studio with like multi healers. And we've been having some
there you go.
amazing events. So I'm throwing myself all into the
Yeah.
community, and the doors have
Well,
been opening so much. I
yes,
mean, I met you guys, or found you guys through Debbie Romero,
yes.
which we
Love
talk all
Debbie.
the time.
Hi,
Oh yeah, I
Debbie.
love her.
Hi, she's following us.
We love
Yeah, I love her,
Debbie.
but
We all love
I
Debbie.
have this like desire to grow all the time. So I want to dive deep into that more. So
Yeah.
thank you guys. Thank you for
Well,
that.
you're welcome. And I think, like you said, the doors are opening, so you can also just allow it to come to you versus, like kind of like, well, what
Mhm.
should I be doing next? Because it should come to you. You're pretty open. You're really, really open already, because you've been doing all of
Yes.
that meditation already. So
Mhm.
it's going to come to you, and it almost like just sit back and watch the magic that comes to you. It's
Absolutely.
also what I'm hearing for you too. And anything creative and playful is also
Yes.
so good, because that's when that land of
Mhm.
imagination is kind of
Yeah.
That's
where
right.
that's
And
happening. Yeah.
our beautiful Ron is actually adding, not all psychics are spiritual, but all spiritual people are psychic. Trust in yourself is the biggest hurdle to overcome.
Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful.
Great.
And
Thank
you
you.
will be guided. You will be guided. So never think that whatever comes to you comes by mistake. Okay. So, and even if it doesn't make sense right now, 10 years down the line, you will go like, that's why.
Yes.
So just go with that flow, go with that flow.
Great.
And
Thank you guys.
yes, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. And actually, we have Valerie that has added something else as well. As she continues from earlier on, she mentioned that she worked in healthcare. I was leaving work totally drained, and I didn't realize I was actually doing healing until I spoke to a spiritual healer. After I was allocated a man in a persistent vegetative state after gassing himself. He made a remarkable recovery with me, caring for him 5 days a week against odds. The medics were amazed, and he could also communicate with me and was always happy.
Wow.
I mean, I have goosebumps. Valerie. I mean, I can see there is a lot of blue and white light around you. And to me, that says you are a healer. Okay. And you just do it naturally. I know that a lot of us go through training, Reiki healing, psychic healing, but effectively speaking, your your presence being energy, okay, was able to channel that goodness, all right, you were born with. And just as I mentioned before, your call in life is to work in healthcare. And as souls, we carry a body, and the body needs caring as well as our soul and mind. So it's like, I must say, thank you for the amazing job you do. Because I always say myself, I'm a qualified secondary school teacher. And what I tell myself is, if I can make the difference only to one student for today, I've done my job. Yeah. And I've reached my scope. okay? And what you have done has gone well above and beyond. And how amazing to read that, actually a man in such state, actually, you said he could also communicate with you and was always happy. Because as unfortunate the situation was, he actually had his own awakening. And that's why he was happy, because there are people that carry, they are born with malfunctions or dysfunctions or what have you, a disability of all levels. And when you look at them, they look so happy. And some people say, how can they be so happy? Because to us, happiness is perfection. And perfection is not in the outer shell, is in the actual connection between our mind, emotion, and soul. And that makes the difference. It's not the perfect functioning. If you think of it, when we age and grow old, okay, the body starts giving up and away somehow, but we will find our fine balance, okay, energetically speaking. And so that is the most important thing, okay? Monica, one thing I wanted to add for you is that I know you are a healer as well. And this is what I wanted to mention. So let me see. Jennifer, would you be up to give a message or two,
Sure.
perhaps?
Yeah, I would love to. Okay, so let's see where we're going. Are we on Zoom or are we on Facebook? Mr. Colin, may I work with you?
Yes, thank you very much.
How are you today?
Thoroughly and enjoying the session.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm so happy.
Wonderful.
You're doing great.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. It's very
Yeah.
important to us.
Yeah, we're very grateful for your presence here today. And I can just tell as we make this lovely connection with spirit that you're just a very generous hearted soul, and also very well connected in your own right, and are really enjoying your experience in life through your spiritual connections that you have too. I'm very aware that you've got some very powerful helpers around you that have great big smiles on their face as they show themselves to me, because they're so just incredibly proud of you, and they just kind of give me a little bit of awareness that you've come a long way, and you've definitely kind of like paid your dues, and just in the the expression of the word in life, and moving through different obstacles that we all have in life. There's been some loss, and there's been some trials, and you've come through them. You have what I want to say is a high integrity of spirit within you, and that kind of strength to keep pushing forward, and you give permission for other people to do that as well. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
I am, yeah, thank you.
Perfect. And I'm very well of your own connection to spirit is quite strong there, and you're able to really share wisdom with people just when they need it the most. And so God bless you for doing that too. I'm being shown like big lilies, like great big open lilies for you too. So as I tune into that flower being shown for you, I'm just very aware of you being what I want to say is a peacemaker and a healer, and spreading that gentle but very strong heart to other people that are in your connected community that you're in. Yeah. And you've given a lot, and spirit is very grateful and wants to give you that admiration and acknowledgement of who you are. as a
you.
person and as a soul. I know this to be very important. I'm very aware that you've got some grandparents coming in for you too, that I feel as if they've been passed a long time, but they've been coming in. I can, they show me like black and white images, so I know I want to go kind of like back in time with them too, of like when
That's
they
correct.
during very historical times, when a lot of history was being made, when life was very exciting but also very hard. So they say it's very different then than it is now, but we still have some similarities and kind of like the cycles that we go through. But they're very proud of you, kind of you are carrying on the legacy of them, but you're doing it in a very different and unique and special way. So I know that these grandparents would have been forward thinkers. They would have been a little more out of the box than traditional folks in that time. And so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but you've really embraced that and expanded it and extended. And so like, how exciting for you, how exciting for you. So you've got this huge amount of people just like all like glued to you and your life, as if like it's like the most exciting program on television they ever saw,
It is.
but with so much love. And it's what a blessing, what a blessing. Danielle, I'm gonna let you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
So welcome.
Oh, as Jennifer was talking, actually I can see like a diamond-shaped crystal, like spinning slowly over your soul star, which means that you have achieved a type of conscious development to the point where you are a point of reference for a lot of spirits that are guiding you. So you are aware that you have a number of spirits that enable you to bring not only knowledge and understanding of spirit, but also healing. And I can see you being enlightened and raised to higher vibrations. And I feel that you have had an occurrence, possibly last year, where you actually had a serious awakening, which it might have been brought on by a major event, whereby you understood even better where you were heading with your spiritual work. I feel that there is a lady that was, I feel maybe an auntie of yours, being close to you, and she was particularly spiritual herself, but she never really, her spirituality was not really she really never came large. In the open with it, yes. And I feel that she's so very proud of you, because she wished she had the courage you're having, okay, to practice and doing what you're doing. And she's telling me that you are aware of her presence around you, and that she is actually working with you to expand the work you're doing. And she's saying that you are having a project that of expansion, and she's saying that this will actually start working in earnest as of September onwards. Okay,
correct.
So, and you are aware that things are progressing, but they're not progressing as fast as you would have hoped. But do not despair, because as of September, you will see it, just go all the way. So, and that's the message for you.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm not worried about the time.
No, I understand that when you come from
September is correct.
September is correct.
But to be honest, the main part, just to confirm, is the enlightenment side.
Wonderful. Well, that's the confirmation, isn't it?
And the awakening was several years ago.
Several years ago. I thought it was in the past. Yeah. I thought it was in the past. But last year, there was something in specific that happened to you. there was something during the summer that happened to
There was.
you.
That's correct. There was. It wasn't an awakening, but there was something.
It was something. That's it. It was a different type of awakening, if you see what I mean. It was raising your conscious to a different level.
Not sure about raising it. It might have been dipping it a bit.
A deepening, a different perspective.
I'm joking.
So when you, but I feel that with that event last year, you started seeing things from a different perspective.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
but that was on the airplane, not
Yes.
spiritually. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, thank you so much. I didn't actually come for a message or expect a message. I was more intrigued and interested in how you've changed your the title of your how are you calling it?
The School of
School,
Conscious
sorry, yeah,
Evolution.
Conscious Evolution.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
the Ascension and 5D aspects to it.
Yes, that's correct. Yes. And this is
if I may say humbly, as humble as I can be, I think you're on the right track, perfectly.
Thank you.
Because now we've got to start looking at what's beyond mediumship.
Yes, exactly so. Exactly so. And perhaps it would be lovely to have you on the show as well at some point, and we can have a chat.
Well, I'd kindly accept.
Excellent. I'll be in touch then. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. God bless you, Colin. God bless you. Jennifer.
Okay, I agree with Colin. Thank you for what you're doing and providing this platform and helping us all to keep growing. It's a very important and big job that you're doing. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I would like to come to Lisa. I already know Lisa. But your mom and dad are here. I know I've already connected with mom and dad before, but they pleasure helpers, and you've got an angelic presence here for you as well, are putting tons and tons of pink around you. So you're literally just kind of like engulfed in pink. So I know that this beautiful love is being like embraced around you, and it's been that way for a while and is continuing. So I know that there's something very kind of like important and poignant happening in your life right now, as if you've also had another like stage of awakening, and now you're like immersed in all of this love and all of this beauty. So everything for you right now is about love, and it is about beauty. And I know you've also worked to be of service in different ways, and helping the mental health community and so forth. And God bless you for that, for your contribution. And I know that I can just feel like, the ones way up there are like, thank you, because you've helped so many people in your life. But right now, a lot of it's just about you and where you are. But I can't express enough about how much pink there is. And you've got this lovely, like a feminine presence, very angelic. And I do feel like you've been getting the angelic signs, seeing them, like seeing the numbers and the little symbols and synchronicities and the feathers and so forth. They're bringing all of these little signs to you, and we're going to be continuing to do so. But it's just so beautiful. It's really all about your expression of joy in this world. And like, it's just a lot about joy for you right now, the joy of living, the joy of breathing, the joy of experiencing yourself and your heart and your connection to other people. And I really feel like finally, we're like, finally, that's where we're going. And I feel so happy for you. I know I've known you for a few years, and I just feel so happy for you that like we've gotten to this point. And there's a little part of you that's like, should I believe this is true? Is this too good to be true? Kind of thing. There's that little bit like where's the but I just want to say, they're just saying, I'm hearing, don't stop believing by journey, so I know that it's very real. I feel a very intense depth of love and compassion around you. So when I say this, it's like, please take it all in and accept it all. I know this is to be very important for you, is take it in, accept it. You like giving, receiving is another lesson for you. So please take it all in. So that's what I have for you. I'll hand it over to Daniela.
Thank you.
Yes, Lisa, I'm feeling someone, I can see someone that comes along, is a family member. I feel it's someone that feels like your sister, or it's a friend that was like a sister to you. There is some sort of similarity to you even. So it could be actually your sister, because it feels more like family, all right? And there is another lady coming through, which is your grandmother as well. And I know, and she's saying to me that you always known that she's been around you, and you have been feeling her presence around you. And she's telling me of the amazing things that you've done with her when she was alive, when you were little, when you were very little, you spent time with her. And she will always, she's showing me like knitting, something. She was doing little jobs with her hand. She loved producing things with her own hand, probably knitting and things like that. But she's saying she loved buying clothes for you and to treat you like a little doll, because you were precious to her. And and she's showing me a rag doll, and she's saying that you loved her. And you loved holding the rag doll, and just you couldn't go anywhere without it. You were just walking around with the rag doll all the time. And she's telling me that once you dropped it, and I think that there was a dog from that neighborhood that took it, but actually you managed to get it back. And you were in tears because you couldn't live without that rag doll. Okay. She's saying to me that just like that doll, you know, you have that soul. It's stitched to you like that rag doll used to in your childhood. And you are hanging on to your spirituality, like in a way that you believe, you trust, you are blindfolded with it, and you're just trusting completely, and you're following your spiritual path. And the moment it came upon you, you never let it go, because you knew that that was a way for you to develop and to feel safe and secure within yourself, because you trust nothing else but the highest God and the love that comes to you from him. Yes. And as I'm talking to you, I feel the expansion of your heart space. And I feel this is a process that has been taken part, or it's part of your journey, and it's been taking a time to develop. But you, whenever you connect to the heart center, you can attract and manifest into your life anything you want. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
So she is sending you lots of love, and she's doing this. And I can see some angel wings like wrapping around you. And that makes me believe that you do work with angels as well. And they are always around you, and they protect you dearly.
I feel it. Thank you.
God bless you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
That's the message.
Thanks for letting us work with you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Wow. How amazing is that? I suddenly felt this amazing energy, you know, falling over us. And so I would say that I am actually aware that we're coming towards the end. So Jennifer, before we go, do you have anything that you would like us to know about your work and where we can find you? And if you have anything available out there for people that are following us, if you know they can join you anywhere?
Yes, I'd love to. My website is mediumjenniferrose.com, so it should be pretty easy to find me. I do a monthly Sunday service. I've got Debbie and Miguel Gonzalez coming in on the next one. I still have to update that one, so you won't see it just yet, but very soon you will. So that's going to be very exciting coming in July. I've got my development circles on the schedule. I'm doing a spirit talk this Sunday. It's a Q&A, so it's just a free event Q&A. So people come with spiritual questions and I give them my perspective or whatever spirit's wanting to say through me as perspective for them too. Super fun. I also do have my group healing meditation next Wednesday. We sit in the power. My healing helpers do trance healing through me for the group and usually a channeled message. So a lot of fun stuff coming up that I do. And I keep, just adding something here, something there. And so, but I love connecting with people and trying to just create a safe space where we can all come together and just feel the love and connection, and then hopefully spread that out to other people. So it's kind of like keeping the flow going, keeping the ripple effect going too. So thank you for allowing me to offer that.
Jennifer, thank you so much. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people will find quite a few of the things you do of much interest, and hopefully they'll be able to join you. Thank you so much for coming along tonight and give us some of your precious time to the benefit of the collective, and to help, with the understanding of what's going on, energetically speaking, on our planet at the moment, and of the awakening. And hopefully I shall see you around some other time on this show as well. Again,
I hope so. Thanks for having me, Danielle, and for all that you're doing for everybody. So I'm so just honored and happy to be here with all of you. And thanks to everybody for coming here on Zoom and Facebook. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm just so very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lots of love to everyone. So next week, I am running a crystal workshop. So unfortunately, I won't be around, and that will be the last time, because I'm just rescheduling my commitments to accommodate the Wednesdays. But as of Wednesday, 2 weeks time, we will have a trance healer joining us. I will be putting on, and there will be a fantastic meditation, and I'm talking about Nigel Walton. He will be joining us on this show, and I will be running on Wednesdays every week going forward. Again, thank you ever so much. It's been wonderful to see you all here, and I shall see you very soon. Thank you, and thank you, Jennifer, again for coming.
Thank you, Danielle. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye, everybody.